One of the biggest difficulties we face as humans is becoming so attached to another person that when it's time to actually disconnect from that attachment, it almost seems impossible. It becomes one of the hardest, most painful, most suffering-inducing things that we have to actually experience in this human body. I think we can all agree on that, right? That trying to get over a breakup, trying to detach yourself from somebody is extremely painful. I think that every human adult has experienced this at some point in their life. And I've recently been going through this myself, and I've been contemplating, like, why is this? Like, why do we get like this? And I finally realized it's because we have to. We literally have to. It's just a natural human biological instinct for us to get attached to each other. Because if we didn't get attached to each other, why would we stick around with each other long enough to want to have kids and raise a family? And there's obviously some other factors involved, like your attachment style, depending on how severe your attachment is or how unhealthy it is. But for the most part, all human beings have this innate ability to become attached to another person, to sort of conjoin with them to the point where it feels like we're one. And like I said, embarrassingly enough, I was going through this for the past 2 years trying to get over someone. I tried everything. Like, I tried different types of meditations. I tried to just control my thoughts and stop thinking about them. I literally tried everything I possibly could. It was extremely painful for me. And then I finally figured out, like, just recently, I realized what I had to do, and it actually worked like this. And you might not want to hear it. It might be a little bit triggering for you, but I would encourage you to at least just stick around and just listen to what I have to say. If it is triggering for you, that's because there's something there. That means that there's some truth to what I'm saying. But it's basically this. You have to completely let them go. I mean, you have to just completely accept that it's over and that it's never going to be. And I know it hurts, and it might be even bringing up pain for you right now, just like it did for me. But the trick is, you have to allow yourself to face that pain. You have to be there with it. You have to just let it come up and really face it all at once, almost like ripping off a Band-Aid. Like, it hurts when you rip it off, but once you do, the pain will go away. And you might say, like, oh, but I'm already doing that. Like, I am letting them go. But I mean, are you actually? I mean, are you still entertaining fantasies in your mind about them? Do you still think that there's going to be some point in the future where maybe you guys are going to get back together? I mean, like, for me, since I felt very rejected by this person, I felt like I had to kind of get the last word in. So I still picture myself in situations where I'm rejecting them, which is just like a very toxic dynamic in my mind. But I still wasn't, although I told myself a million times that I had let them go and that I was letting them go, I wasn't actually, because I was still entertaining all of the thoughts and I was still giving into them. You have to be able to disconnect from this altogether. And the way you do this, like I mentioned, is you allow yourself to feel all the pain. It's going to feel like a knife is stabbing you in the heart when you have to finally just be honest with yourself and say, it is never going to happen. It's just because it's just not. It would have if it was going to. And once you accept this, it's going to hurt a lot. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be willing to face that pain. And then next, it might take some time for you, but every time that the thoughts come up about this person, you have to be willing to pull yourself away from them and just keep reminding yourself that I've accepted that I've let this go. I have let this go, and it's never going to happen. It can't be. I know it sucks and I know it hurts. You have to understand how fucking freeing it is to finally just get this ball and chain off of you, to finally just unleash it off of you and leave it behind. It really is the most freeing thing in the entire world, to let somebody go who you have been a slave to for so long. I mean, if you don't let this go, some people still have, they're still attached to people for years after they've broken up or got rejected or whatever. I mean, literally for years. They still have all of these limerent fantasies, and they're still living in their mind and hoping that one day they'll reconnect. I don't know, I can't specifically tell you like how to necessarily let it go, but you have to just do it. You have to figure out, like, what does letting go mean to you? I have some videos, if you look at my older videos on the letting go technique, that might be helpful for you. I've also did a guided meditation on letting go. It's really about letting go of the feelings you have. But yeah, that's really like what you have to do to get over somebody. Most people don't want to hear that because their ego is so attached to this person, and they can't disconnect from them, or they don't really truly want to. Like, that's the thing. You don't really truly want to let it go. You have to want to. You have to understand that when you completely let this go, your whole entire life is going to change. You're finally going to be at peace. And the funny thing is, once I finally did this, once I finally let this person go, I finally accepted that it wasn't going to be. Somebody else came into my life, because that's usually what happens. How How is the world or life going to let somebody else come into your life when your heart and your mind is so unhealthily attached to this person that doesn't want to be with you? Listen, your mind and your emotions are playing a trick on you to make you feel like you cannot go on without this person. But let me ask you a question. What were you like before you met them? I mean, what do you like now, besides the fact that it makes you miserable? I mean, you're fine, right? You're alive. You lived your entire life without them. You're living now without them. Everything is fine. You have to understand that it's all just it's all in your mind. It's all just thoughts and emotions, just a ball of thoughts and emotions keeping you stuck and trapped. And you have to be willing to let the emotions go. You have to be willing to let the thoughts go. I heard something recently. It's your attachment to this person that makes them seem like they're so special. In reality, no one is really that special. We're all just people. We've all been through different experiences. We've all done different things. But when you get so hyper-focused on one person and they seem like they become your entire world, you want them so badly, your ego just gets so attached to them. You're making them seem so amazing in your mind when in reality they're just like anybody else. And once you truly let them go, you realize this. You start looking back and you're like, you know what, to be honest, you start noticing all of the bad things about them. And you start seeing how it probably wouldn't have worked anyway, even if they did want you. It's mostly just the fact that you feel so abandoned and rejected that makes you want them. It makes you want to keep chasing. And I know it's painful and it comes back to a lot of childhood trauma and things like that, but you really have to be willing to, release this. You have to be willing to let it go. There's no other way to say it. I think the reason we stay so stuck on people for so long is because we're not willing to admit the truth to ourselves. As humans, we hate to face the truth because the truth is scary. The truth hurts. And we'll do just about anything to avoid, as this famous psychologist Carl Jung says, we'll do just about anything to avoid facing our own souls. We'll do anything to avoid facing the truth. But I've come to find that once you can face the truth, that's where you find true peace and happiness. My advice right now, if you truly want to do this, if you truly want to be free, is to admit to yourself that this person that it's not going to happen. You have to let it go and sit with everything that's going to come up. Like even right now, if you feel some emotions coming up, just literally just sit there, relax your body, let them all come and just be with them. Just feel whatever has to be felt. This might take a couple of days, a couple of weeks. You have to continuously do this. You have to continuously let go depending on the severity of the relationship. If you guys were together for a while, whatever. It might, for some people, it'll be different for everybody. But you might have to continuously just keep letting it go. You might have to just continuously keep reminding yourself, I'm done with this. I'm moving on. I'm going to go live my life without this person finally. And I'm going to be free. I mean, it really, like even right now, it'll feel freeing for you to just accept that I'm no longer going to be a slave to this. And I'm going to let it go. Just give it a try. Let me know what you think.